So thanks for being here, the three of you. So I just want to remind you that if you don't want your voice, your faces, or your names to be displayed, this will be going off into the public sphere of um, vastness, so of YouTube. Anyway, so that thanks for being here to hold space and to play around. And this is class number 3 of Support Your Conscious Activism. Things, I think, in my experience, are kind of heating up around the US because of the election, and we just had our vice presidential debate. So, in this third class, let's see, so far we've covered the first couple of steps, which are about how to move back out of reactivity into something that feels conscious and sustainable over time. And so the first step was about recognizing the signs that we're in reactivity. And the second is about deciding whether to shift. Now, Esme, last time, just to give you full, like, that was so great, was willing to start going into SEW, which is what is the focus of today. So Esme, you have a little bit of experience, and Sarah and Jen also have a lot of experience. So let's as I'm describing this, I'm hoping each one of you will be really unenlightened so that I can walk you through this process as demonstrations for folks that are not on the call right now. I love this process so much, SEW. And just what does that mean? Sensations, emotions, what do you really want? This is a process I've developed over the decades, really unbeknownst to me that it was going to become something that was really a pillar of the work that I teach. Because I thought it was going to be just this nice little communication skill from Gay and Katie Hendricks. They said, "Oh, speak with the microscopic truth in a way that nobody can argue with," which sounded so simple at the time. So what does that really mean? And so I want to outline that and then start to demonstrate this. It's what this skill does overall is take something that I believe to be true out there. It's projecting reality out there. Now, there's some reality out there. I'm sure it must be. It seems like it's out there. But what I found over time is that the more I can understand what's going on from the inside, the more power and control I have. Now, do I really have any control over my life? Well, right, we know not very much, except what can I control is probably going to be internal versus being out there. Not so great at being able to get other people or the world to step in and do things the way I think they should do it. But can I shift my state? That's the big question here. Can I shift my state? Because in this work, in my view of life, if I can shift my own state, that's everything. That's everything. That by being able to do that, if I'm in a contracted reactive, but I can notice it and actually start to wonder and go more expanded, that all kinds of amazing things happen. And that's one of the kind of the bastions of this, what I'm teaching in these weeks, is saying it's not gonna be out there, no matter what is happening out there, no matter who is finally elected or how that's going to look in my own brain, my own mind. It's my life has really zero to do with out there. It has everything to do with in here. So can I come back into my body where it's really at? Can I actually do the things, use the tools, recognizing the signs, deciding to shift and beyond, so that then my world can open up in a whole new way? So that's what we're playing with. And we've talked about the inner map so far so that I can start to locate where I am on the map. Yeah, and we've talked about get to decide not to. I don't want to is a very legitimate thing to be able to say, because as soon as I say, no, I don't want to shift, I'm already choosing. And as soon as I'm choosing, I'm out of reaction and I'm now into response. That's the idea. I can get out of reaction into creation, into being at the bottom line of my own experience. So that's what we're up to. Now, Esme, you did such a beautiful demonstration last time about shifting and really getting into SEW, and we'll go into the actual details of that. But I wonder for you if what that was like for you, or if you have anything you want to say from that experience. We still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Getting there kind of faintly, and now no.
Okay.
Yes, better, 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 better,
Better?
better.
Okay. Strange. Okay. I don't know about technology. I'm sorry.
Well, whatever you did just worked, so maybe you know more than you.
Okay, great. Um uh it was pretty profound actually last week. I had like a serious feeling of euphoria after the call where I just felt like shifting, like something really moved for me, and I felt lighter, and but also present, like really, like I was really able to be present in my life and my surroundings after that. And yeah, it was amazing.
This is a great
And I'm glad
teaser.
my video wasn't working because I was crying during the session. Like I really went there emotionally, and I think that was part of what helped me feel that kind of euphoric lightness afterwards.
All right. So your willingness to be with it and then to label it. I mean, this is a great teaser backwards so that anybody who hasn't watched the last class, class number 2, you really want to, because it was such a beautiful whew, walking through. And I think for me, you may end up being the star of the show of these. Thanks. Let's go viral. Um, that you jumped in without really having much idea at all of where we were going. I'm thinking that's generally the case, but you didn't even know like the structure, the kind of skeleton of what this is up to. So just want to really appreciate your sort of, okay, here we go. Let's try this thing. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hmm. Um,
It was really profound for me, so thank you.
Now I love as we're leading up to this, because I will describe this and teach it. Um, but all three of you, I think, now might be able to speak to what you have used SEW for. Of course, Esme, probably don't even know very much about it enough to speak to that, except the profoundness. So, Jen or Sarah, I wonder if you feel like speaking at all about anything that you've used this tool for.
Um, Pretty much everything.
Mhm.
Like anytime there's a conflict with myself or with other people, I'm having some weird health stuff I keep using it for, just to kind of tune in when I'm not like fully in my body to come back in. Um, I use it in my relationship, my romantic relationship, especially every day. Um, yeah, it's for me, it's a way to get out of the details and like the arguable stuff that kind of keeps me outside of myself, me and my partner. Like we can focus on the arguable stuff. We don't get anywhere with that usually, um, except for maybe some righteousness. Um, and then, using this brings me back into what's really true with my sensations and my emotions. Um, and, back into 100% responsibility. Because inevitably, like typically when I'm arguing, I feel really kind of spacey right now. So just to name that.
Oh, there's the sensation. Thank you. Takes you right to the truth.
Um, uh, that I'm not taking responsibility. I'm blaming him or collapsing and blaming myself. So it always brings me back into power.
the context of me teaching this class is our election time season because, well, because people seem to have big feelings about this. And so I wanted to really, I wanted to support that, but also use this as a teaching opportunity to say, okay, if we're going to be in this intense time, how can we all learn from this? Um, so what is my point? Something about, I don't know. I lost my point. So Jen, I wonder if you have anything that you are leaning into about SEW and what it's done for you.
Mm. Um, like in terms of what Sarah was saying, like in everything, it feels like a skill that it ends up permeating every part of our lives. Um, and again, like Esme's experience last week of it, that's been my experience too. Like it just the experience of moving that energy rather than trying to contain it, you just go, wow. It's like, and that is something that it I've really would want to keep experiencing that. I've also taken it into my family, so it's rippling out. Um, and Julie has once a week she checks in with people either through questions or in like a fishbowl situation. And my daughter is not a part of the community. And she spent time with Julie and spent the whole time pretty much in SEW and came out the other end similar, Esme, to yourself. And that's kind of it's a lot of our communication at home and even with my 84-year-old mother. I talk about
Ah.
having feelings and she's getting used to that.
It's wearing off on.
Yeah. Yesterday I did something with her and I was just like, ah, ah. She just looked at me and said, I'm mad. Ah. She started
Oh.
laughing. I was like, ah. And it wasn't in any way projected at anyone. It was just very much, I just had that energy move through. So a profound skill to be able to have for everyday use. It's just, to me, it's life changing. Yeah.
Thanks for speaking about that. And I've got the other end of the thread that I was trying to pull together. That uh, from a physiological perspective, humans, and maybe all mammals, I don't know, but humans, we have this special language ability that makes things much more interesting and complicated. But that as soon as I go into a reaction, as soon as I detect threat, like somehow I'm going to, and then some part of my system says, oh, there's a threat. And it's going to go out there. My attention will go out there to try to figure out what the threat is. I don't know. I was feeling good. And then somebody went past me with their grocery cart too close. Like, oh, what's the threat? So it looks like it's out there. And I think that's, again, as a human, it's very tricky to go from out there to here, to say, wait a second, no, if they hadn't put that grocery cart so close to me, or if they had passed a better law, or if we don't get the right person, or all of the theys out there, it's so entrancing. And it totally makes sense from our threat system to do that, to be like, the threat's out there, let's try to eradicate it. We got to figure it out. We got to deal with it, get rid of it. However, what that's doing is all of my attention is out here, again, in the land of the uncontrollable. It's in the land of the blame. And as soon as I'm blaming somebody else, now we're already in this chain of reactivity because my blame is an attack. So, okay, I detect a threat, and then I want to blame them. Stop doing that or get rid of it. Blah, blah, blah. And now they have to defend against me. And so this kind of mounting escalation of blame is where we lose our power. It's there, even if it's a natural thing to do. And so to kind of give ourselves a lot of space with this, like, yeah, I know, little reactive brain, I know you're trying to protect me. And yet to understand, as soon as I'm doing that, it's almost like I'm here's all my power, and it's going out that direction instead of coming back in here. So this skill that you're describing, and that now I'm going to say more about, is very much about, if I can come back in here, this is what where I can do something in a conscious, aware way, and out there I can't. So coming back in here and finding what's really going on. And so that lurch, that kind of instinct to go there, to start to be like, okay, I don't even know what is that new rhythm of, can I bring myself back? In relationships, one of the things I hear over and over again is, I'm not connected. I don't feel connected. We're not connected. And because my reactive brain disconnects me, it's out there, versus coming back in here where I can reconnect with me, and then I can reconnect with you. So as a kind of a holder of this whole experience together, that's what I'm about, because ultimately, like when we get up to the 10th step, which is about recommitting to being on team human, that means, connecting. That means deciding I'm on the same team with everybody. But I can't decide that if I'm out, but they, and get your grocery cart away from, like, I can only do that if I'm connected to me. So this is such an important piece to put in here foundationally. And we'll come back to it over and over again. Enough to say, or I want to just say that you can find out more about this particular skill. We've got videos, because over and over, it's really trying to teach this. If you go to SEW relationship skill as a URL, SEW relationship skill, you'll find a page of videos and other things to support you learning how to do this. Because when I do it, life shifts. I feel expanded. It's like, what? So let me walk us through how this particular skill works. I'm going to share the screen with my the main handout that we use, so that if somebody's watching this, just take a screenshot of this, you'll find it. Although, again, you can find a copy of this also on that page. So here it is. Here is how to speak what is unarguable. So to just give a little bit more, like, why do we care unarguable? What does that even mean? This is about getting out of blame. Because as soon as I say something arguable, and now that you're going to start hearing, because I just did, as soon as I say something arguable now, and if you want to argue with me because all the reasons, because you're my partner, and because, or because you're just sitting there thinking in your mind, yeah, well, that's arguable, which is often what I'm thinking, by the way, when I'm listening to people. It's like, okay, if you're arguing with me, I've lost you. I've just lost you. You're not interested in, really. You're kind of coming up with your own counterpoint, or maybe it's just me. That could be pure projection. I just want to own that. But that if I can really find what is unarguable, what somebody else cannot argue with me about, then everybody can relax. You don't have to be on the defense. You don't have to be like, oh, there goes Julie again. She's just going to wag her finger at me and snort. Like, versus what's really going on in my body is where it's at. Because, well, now, as you look at that column, sensations, emotions, what you want, can we all just notice you could argue with this, those three things? So I like to think about this as the rules of the game. So if you want to play this particular game, which I would recommend, because, well, I shift and I can reconnect and I love everybody, and so there's a lot going for it. But you don't have to play this game. But here's some rules if you decide to play it, because then we can agree on the rules and we don't have to, like, say, but wait a second, hang on. No, that's the foul line. No, I didn't. There's no foul line there, right? Actually, if we agree on what the foul lines are, can really help us, because we can relax and just play. So in this world, what is unarguable, and this is after really literally 30 years of me trying to refine this down to what people don't typically argue about. Excuse me if I tell you that I got something in my throat, you probably would be like, well, just drink some water or something. You probably wouldn't argue with me. Um, so to start to notice that, that's a sensation. I want to cough. You can tune into other things that are sensations. Like I noticed my foot was all curled up around the chair and I was kind of pushing against a kind of a crampy foot. It's a sensation. So to start to say, okay, wait a second, sensations, we're going to say those are not arguable. Nobody gets to argue with me. If I'm describing a sensation from the inside of my body, everybody can be like, okay, fine. Just stop telling me about your stomach. But that anything that's happening from the inside, nobody gets to argue with. And now I'm going to flash this on to this so that you can see this as some examples of sensations. Because what are we really talking about? Well, there are a lot of fun words. Zinging, fuzzy. Let's see. Yeah, thank you, Cynthia, and Gay and Kathleen Hendricks. So here are examples. Notice some things that aren't there. Tired isn't on there. Fine isn't on there. So to start to say, oh, I can get more and more articulate about my sensations. Now, what this is doing is it's bringing my attention to my body, which there's this moment. If my attention is in on my physiology, there's this lovely moment of what Bruce Lipton would say, we can consciously regulate our molecules. That if I'm tuning into what's happening in my body, we kind of played around with this a little bit before, that the sensations themselves start to shift, which is amazing. Like right there already, that's where I'm having this ability that if I'm not with my attention out there, but bringing it here, I'm able to shift what's going on in my body. I just think, wow, I didn't know that that was a possibility. And I like to spread the word, although it seems like such a simple concept, but we can do it even right now and just notice any place that you have tension, especially, oh, my shoulders look kind of tense. If I put my attention on those places, with my attention on my breath, that starts to be different. It might intensify. It might get more. The pain might go up. The fear might get more. But what it's doing, it's shifting the experience so that my attention is bringing some energetic movement. Now, as we do this, when I demonstrate with one of you in a little bit, if you're willing, what I really want watchers to notice is that, again, this kind of unknown power that we have, if I put my attention and awareness on the actual sensation, it's going to intensify. And I think, you might have had this experience last time, your sadness, like it intensified, it got worse. Worse meaning more. I don't know if that means really worse, but that, well, we don't know. Like most of us are very logical, like, okay, this is the wrong direction. I don't want to feel worse. So let's do something to make myself feel better. And we all have our ways, right? Just all of the ways to not have to think about what we're feeling and get away from that. But what happens then, we slide back down where any progress we would have made to move that sensation, we just lost it. So if you're willing to go further and further into the actual experience, which can take a minute, 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, it's actually going to crescendo and move out through the body. So notice that when you watch this, because as you get more and more confident in your ability to move your own sensations, you are less and less dependent on anything outside of you, anything that you're ingesting or distracting yourself from, or somebody else to comfort you. That's nice, but it's really going to be your own ability to, shift my experience right here, right now. So sensations are unarguable, and I'm going to come back to this. And then eventually, I'm going to show you how this looks. So sensations, this is such a beautiful, elegant, simple system that our bodies have. Our bodies are just trying to, wander through space, trying to give us information about our own experience of life. Well, how are they supposed to do that? There we are. We're just kind of la la la. How are they supposed to tell us, oh, I don't like that? Or, wow, I feel sad. Or I feel scared from our sensations. If we don't overthink this, which now, you thinkers, because that's why you're on this call, because you're thinking. Thank you. Um, you know lots and lots of emotion words. And I'm going to ask you to forget them because I don't think they're that useful. So many of the words we use, like anxious, depressed, upset, betrayed, exhausted. Let's see, what are some other feeling words? Uh, Flabbergasted. So many of those words, there are sensations all mixed together with a whole lot of thinking. So,
Spacey.
so yes. Should I stop this sharing?
Oh no, I was just adding. I said I feel spacey earlier.
Oh,
That's
right.
why.
So will you say more?
Uh, yeah. I mean, the actual sensation is like kind of contracted and tight in my head. I feel,
Oh,
yeah. It's that, yeah.
interesting.
I want to keep saying I feel spacey
Because why is that? Why do you like that better than contracted and
because I'm like, whoa, whoa. Yeah,
well, Sarah, thanks for hello, getting my attention about this, because where I'm going with this is to say, instead of all those great feeling words, I'm asking you to basically have three: mad, sad, scared. Now we used to have five, so making this even more simple. If you're in reactive brain, you're mad, you're sad, or you're scared. If you're not, you're going to be glad, sexual, feeling lots of life energy. But just to keep it like you only get three, all of the hundreds, and why these three? Well, because in my opinion, which is arguable, but these are the rules, these are the ones that are our most primitive responses to life, like us and dogs, other mammals. So just to demonstrate this, so Sarah, noticing your contracted places in your mind, your head. Is that, will you
yeah,
describe it again? The sensations?
yeah. It kind of feels a little squeezy on my brain.
Greasy on your brain.
Yeah.
Is that mad or sad or scared?
Um, I feel a little sad in there. I know it's probably mad. I would say mad, sad.
Mad, sad.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now, is that true? Like, who do we, I don't know. It's Sarah's body. And so, how do you do this? Well, you just have those three. Now, people could be like, yeah, maybe she just didn't drink enough water today, or she's got the flu, or whatever. Could be, but floating emotion words through any physical sensation, like ruling it out first, instead of, generally, I think people are like, oh, I just had a really hard day. I didn't sleep enough. I don't know. I might have a feeling. And I'm saying, okay, let's do this first. Uh, try those feeling words through and then see if you can rule them out. Now, just a quick, well, I'll show you the sensation page again in a sec, but mad tends to be up here. Never heard. So, okay, why does Sarah think maybe there's some mad in there? Because she's a spacey, right? Oh, but maybe there's mad. Sad tends to be here, lump in the throat and heavy heart. Scared tends to be down the belly, nausea, kind of that, not in the belly. Also, I get tense and I tend to grit my teeth when I'm scared. So who knows for you? Oh, Esme, do you want to tell us? Right there.
I noticed that always happens with my jaw when I'm scared.
I'm scared. Yeah. And do you feel it right? Feel some tension right now?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, thank you.
Ah, oh,
My
there it is.
jaw.
And then I wonder, is there any mad in there?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So I got
Yep.
mad and scared.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the law here is anybody gets to feel anything anytime for any reason. We don't know why you're scared, mad, or sad. Like, we don't know. Now we'll do some more inquiry with this. But you, Esme, you get to feel as mad and scared as you feel. I mean, it's really starting there. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to be like, well, no wonder, because if you hadn't, or, oh God, if I should have, and all the things. It's like, nope, we're just starting. This is a starting point saying, oh, right now I feel, and maybe that was so 3 minutes ago, but maybe I still feel mad and scared, and Sarah, mad and sad. And Jen, you want to tell us anything that you're feeling right now?
Yeah, I noticed a little bit of like, ugh, ugh,
Uh,
because I was like, Julie might ask me.
uh-oh, uh-oh, ah!
And I did notice some tension in my jaw. Just yeah, like, and so I'm not sure if that was a little bit of that, like, ooh,
Uh, uh.
yeah.
So mad, sad, scared?
Um, it feels, and I noticed a little bit of tightening in my stomach too. So it feels probably scared, like,
Uh.
yeah.
So we got some scared, and then I wonder, Jen, just to ask your jaw if or thereabouts, any mad?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
want to be
just
scared.
right. No, right. Stop scaring me. Right. So to just be like, oh, and just because I think often when we use these emotion words like, oh no, if I say I feel mad, like, oh, Julie's mad. Like everybody watch out versus, oh yeah. I mean, it's simple as if I don't know, my I feel hungry. Right. I mean, it's just like it's just a thing. It's not a big deal. It's just a noticing of my sensations and putting it together with an emotion. And now let's do the next part of this, which is to find out more about what our emotions are trying to tell us. So just to bring this back in. Um, so we did sensations. Now we didn't complain. Complaining is lovely, but only for 1 minute, y'all. So not 45 minutes of venting, but complaining really brings something to the surface. So that's why that's on this handout. Then we've been getting to what's unarguable, the sensations. And now we're going to go through this. Now, I did say I was going to go back to this page because if you look at this page and you want to take a screenshot of it, that's what Cynthia's whole graphic here is about, is where do you typically feel these sensations? So creative and happy is all around. Mad tends to be up here. Scared tends to be all in here, and then sad in there. So it's a nice little graphic to be able to see what's going on. So now I'm going to go back and because my assumption here, what I've surmised is emotions are trying to actually tell us something. So how do we figure out what they're trying to say? Speak English. I don't get it. What are you trying to tell me? And so that's what these questions are. And that's what I'm going to ask, but I'm going to ask them without, so I can actually look at you while I'm asking them. But this is what I'm going to be using in a moment as I ask everybody what you're feeling. So Sarah, going back to Spacey, so what's happening now?
Now I notice butterflies in my stomach.
Oh, and do you still have contracted anythings up there?
It doesn't feel as squeezy. Yeah, it doesn't feel as squeezy.
So still somewhat squeezy.
Yeah, it's a hard sensation. I'm like a disoriented. sense. So that's like it's like I'm not really in my head.
Now, can
So
we,
it's a hard one to describe.
how long have you been having this experience of the spacey squeezy?
At least 2 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe almost three.
So you're pretty well acquainted with this whole experience. So cool. And so it's doing some things. And now you just will you just it's not as squeezy, and then you notice butterflies.
Huh.
So let's stay up here a little bit longer and just find out what it's trying to tell you.
Okay.
Uh, does it still feel like mad, or you said mad and sad
I feel sad right now. I feel like tears back there somewhere.
back there?
Yeah.
So would you be willing to feel sad?
Yes. Yeah.
And what's it like to let yourself feel sad?
Feel a little bit more rooted down in the sad.
And while you're in there with it, what is it telling you? What's the loss?
Um, Myself. Yeah.
How about letting yourself feel sad about losing yourself?
Now the squeezy is coming in.
Okay, now we got whoosha.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like mad.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh,
So mad says we're getting something that we don't want. There's an intrusion perceived. We're not getting something that we want. Ooh, there's an obstacle. So as you tune
yeah.
into your anger, what are you getting that you don't want or not getting that you want?
I'm not, I'm not getting myself. I'm not getting like a full embodiment. Like I don't feel you know,
Hmm.
in my own body. Oh,
Well, letting
you
yourself
know,
feel as mad as you feel about that.
I'm so mad about that. I want to be in my body. I don't want
Well,
to be full.
I appreciate that. I mean, but actually letting yourself feel mad, I
Oh,
feel
oh,
mad.
God. I'm mad. Ah. Oh,
What does this remind you of?
like a specific memory. I'm thinking about being on I grew up on boats.
Oh, you grew up on boats. Say more.
I just grew up boating every summer, all summer, camping and boating. Mm.
What's coming up?
Just a big wave of sad. It's probably been like 15 years since my family we went camping and boating a few weeks ago, and um, we hadn't done that since my mom got sober. When I went in and you asked what it reminded me of, I like went back to being a kid on the boat.
What did you see?
Kind of like a mix. Like it was um like a freedom. I was really my mom's drinking wasn't an issue. It's like the playfulness of being a kid. I could go on a boat and not be swaying for weeks. I don't. It's still there's some loss in there that's really I can't quite put my finger on, but yeah, kind of all over the place.
Well, how's your jaw?
My jaw's better.
And how's this place?
My heart feels um, kind of tight. There's a lot of energy in there.
So breathing with that. And is that mad or sad or scared? And I'm just doing the SAW questions here. Sad. And
Yeah.
so what's the loss your heart is saying?
Um, I don't quite get it. It's like the loss is it's like a simpler time. Like and there wasn't like conflict and I don't know, just a sense of being free.
You'll be a kid.
Yeah.
How's your heart now?
I'm not like it's really big. I'm not fully letting myself go into it.
Okay. Totally, of course, up to you. And you could also go off camera if you wanted to let
Yeah.
yourself feel the full experience. And yet, um, like to notice it's really trying to talk to you. And for those watching this or witnessing this, thank you so much, Sarah. But all I'm doing is seeing, did anything shift? Are we on the right track? Because in fact, it did change in your jaw. Oh, okay, good. Oh, but it's more intense in your heart. Okay, there's more information that your body's trying to give us. And
Yeah. I
so
feel just disoriented.
you feel less, okay,
Yeah.
great, less disoriented. And then, but big place, big energy in your heart.
Hmm.
And as you're with that, we were going with sadness. Is there anything else like love, glad? I mean, the heart is such a huge. There's all kinds of things going on in there.
Yeah. There's a lot of love.
A lot of love.
Like it just especially for my parents.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's like that sad love soul kind of, tear.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I can just see them and, you know, appreciate that.
So how is your heart right now?
Feels lighter.
Hmm. Yay, bodies! Like it's telling you the information, and you're hearing it, and then it gets to move on. Like the energy itself gets to be like, okay, did our jobs. And so we started with spacey, contracted. What's just happening in this whole area?
I feel less spacey, attracted, feel a little bit more planted.
A little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit,
Um,
not complete. Sarah, I keep having this thought, maybe you two do too. Um, do you think your body's giving you this gift by keeping you in the boat?
can you say more?
Well, that was a time that felt free and that you've been in this kind of place of what's the word that I've totally lost of kind
Like
of
rocking.
rocking,
Thing.
the rocking. And if there's some gift in this of your body saying, hey, we get to keep rocking and keep back, accessing what it felt like.
Yeah, that it seems like there's something to that, like that lands in a certain way. Yeah, I have not considered it a gift.
Right. Stop rocking.
Damn it.
Bodies, they're very insistent. Those sensations, the pains, the places, they're like, no, didn't get the message yet. So we can do all of the things, all the interventions, and or we could just be like, what are you trying to tell me? Please. So while you're kind of over there with this, I'm going to just check in with Jen and Esme, excuse me, and you know you're not Esma, but anyway, to see what's happening with you two. Because Sarah, then my ultimate question is going to be, what do you really want? But probably it seems like you could use a little more time with the sensations themselves. And so I'm going to show you this handout again so that you can see where we're at. The sensations told us, oh, what the emotion is. Then we wondered from the emotion, oh, what am I getting that I don't want? What am I not getting that I want? If I feel angry, what's the perceived loss? Says sad. Scared. Hey, there's a perceived danger or threat. Is there one? It doesn't matter. My body thinks there is one. So it's not like somebody can be like, Julie, there's nothing to be scared about. Well, my body's scared. So what is my body perceiving as the danger or threat? And then glad sexual, which we're not really talking about much, but it's really once we're back into a more expanded state. Whew, what can I celebrate and enjoy right now? Because I'm feeling good. Now, once we've cleared these, especially these reactive brain emotions, then there's this open space where I can say, what do I really want? And that's the W. So we did sensations, we did emotions, and then now I can get to the bottom line of what I really want. So I'm going to come back to you all and see, hey, Esme, how's it going there? How's your jaw? Anything happening up there?
Well, yeah, I wanted to thank Sarah for going through that. That was beautiful. And I was kind of like, I don't know, I felt like I was right there with you, just kind of noticing stuff in my body, and the way you did that was so brave. I was just, it was helping me kind of stay with some of the mad that I had been feeling in my jaw, and just had been in like kind of a road rage situation this morning, and I was noticing it was just still in my face.
Like dogs know what they're doing. Like, so have you let yourself be as mad as you feel? Really mad. I did not like that. What did you get that you didn't want or not get that you wanted?
I got some aggression while I was driving.
I didn't want that.
And it was scary.
Yeah, scary. So how do you have fear signals right now?
Yeah, just like I feel fear like right up here all the time, like in the top of my chest.
And what was the perceived?
It's like a clenching, sometimes for me, scared and mad are similar feelings.
They're right next to each other in the inner map.
A bearing down, kind of clenching up feeling.
So letting yourself feel all of it. And what was the perceived threat? Or danger? What might have happened? What was your body telling you about?
Cut me off while I'm driving, that hurt or die.
You could have died. Yeah. Your body knows this. Your body, like, oh, we're driving. It's kind of a wild thing when you think about these huge machines. We're just like, la, la, la. I could have died. So let's be clear about it. Yep. Could have been a crash. So letting your body have that, like, yes. I didn't want that. Now, as you're doing this, like I'm doing this, and Jen, I see you, like Sarah's kind of back in, I don't know where you're, but anyway, like there's something just so compelling in terms of my own connection to you emotionally. If you're willing to go into your sensations, takes me right there. Like I know what that feels like. It's not the exact same because how could it be? But oh yeah, so um, kind of stepping away from this process for a moment of why would we do this? Why would we ever do this collectively? Because as Sarah's doing and Esme, as you're doing this, as Jen, like, oh, we get to have bodies. We get to come back into our bodies and we get to move that stuff through our bodies instead of just being like, oh God, see, the world's a dangerous place. And you know, all these terrible drivers, like, well, okay, we could do that, but it doesn't help your body at all. But letting yourself feel what your body's trying to tell you, that could help. So how's your jaw and how's this place now?
I was just noticing like I started yawning and I don't feel tired. Like my body was just trying to balance that out and release some of that. And I already feel a little bit further towards the releasing it side. Or at least like my body feels like it's wanting to help me release that feeling.
Now, a suggestion I have, maybe when you're not in the call, I don't know, you're at work, to do some damn freaking out, like, could we just model a freak out here? We can do a little quiet little freak out, but like, freak out. Like I could have died. Like could run around like I did not want that. So letting your whole body, that's kind of walking around in the world trying to do this, have its full experience and expression. Yeah, S-E. Oof. Check-in time. Jen, how are you? Any sensations that you're having? Uh-oh. I don't know if you want me to ask you.
No, I found that freak out really helpful. Yeah.
It's really my favorite shift move. I used to freak out every day. Oh, there's so much to freak out about.
Yeah.
Mhm. So then we've talked about sensations, we've talked about emotions, and now let's get to the W because, and Sarah, I don't know how your body's like how your heart is now, where you're at, but is there anything floating up from this as you create more space in your own body that's giving you information about what do you really want?
Yeah, I notice I want to be with my family and with myself. Like I want to be there,
Mm.
fully embodied. There's a sense of uh, like the kid on the boat, just being there, having fun, being with everyone. It's like, yeah,
Be with you, be with your family, be with everyone.
yeah,
I just naturally want to rock when I'm looking at you now. Freedom is a word that you used a couple times too. Just something about that.
yeah, yeah. I think the freedom is really being in me with them. Like I think that's the freedom I'm looking for is to really just be in myself,
Uh,
you know?
and now, what's happened with the contraction up here and this place in your heart area?
They feel pretty clear.
Oh,
Yeah, I can think clear.
and do you still have that rocking sensation?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But right now from above the line, it's like soothing. It's like, oh, the kid being rocked versus like, oh, my brain's being rocked and what? It's just I'm not
Well,
reacting to it. It's like, oh, I'm actually being with it.
okay.
You know?
And as you're with it, what's that like for you?
Well, right now it's kind of nice. It's like I feel like I'm rocking me, like soothing myself, Yeah.
I'm just gonna totally enjoy that too. Well, because soothing myself. Yeah, just rock me. Ooh. Every time we have this conversation, I have the sailing song, "Sailing, take me away." Anyway, so I'm also enjoying Christopher Cross in my mind. Great. So I want to be with me. And Esme, now I'm coming back around. So do you have any sense for you? I don't know, how's your jaw? How's your fear? You're mad?
I feel like I want to take some time to go kind of like really feel it, maybe just when we end the call. But I am feeling like a willingness for shifting possible there.
It's possible. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe some more
And that
mad.
feels like movement, like where if it's not moving now, like that's possible. Yeah.
Okay. And so then does something come to like float to the surface of what you really want?
What I really want is to move that anger is how I feel.
Yeah.
I want that.
Screaming planks are popular around the EPI folks. Do you know what a plank is? When you're like down on the floor and yeah,
Yeah.
if you do that and then you scream at the same time, well, I can't really scream, but yell. I'd recommend it. It's one of my faves.
Ooh, that sounds great.
Right? So I'm looking, we just have a couple minutes. So I want to do a wrap first to thank all of you for being here and for being willing to show this to us. Because well, this never gets old for me, really, literally. I don't know how many thousands of times I've done SEW with folks, and every single time I feel moved by that. And I think it might be a takeaway here is as much as I don't know, it might feel odd or awkward, like such service that you're doing by being willing to speak the truth from a sensation, emotion, what do I want place? Because when you do that, it's drawing my attention into my own body. I'm getting out of the projection. Those people, why don't they? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm coming back into what's really, really true. What do I mean true? Like, oh, the truthiness, right? All that. Well, I can swear to you, really. I love this so much. I can swear to you about my sensations. Now, if somebody could be like, well, can you show me a chemical analysis? No, but I can say, yes, this is actually happening. That's nice to have something to hang on for me. Like that is true. So if I notice it, then I can come into my own body, reconnect with myself. I can do the things to put my attention and my breath on the sensation, get the information, mad, sad, scared. What am I getting that I don't want, not getting that I want? Sad, what's the loss? Scared, what's the perceived threat? Okay, and my body has done its job by giving me all that great information. And then those chemicals can move through the adrenaline and cortisol so that it floats out. And I'm like, okay, what do I really want becomes available to me. So thank you all for offering your bodies today as examples, because it was really, really lovely, and really appreciate you. So we'll be back next time for the class number 4. Actually, Sarah will be teaching. I'll be videoing in a little bit for 4 and 5. And yeah, we'll keep going. So blessings to you all. This really fantastic, amazing time that we get to share on this planet together. So thank you. Bye.